We're going live right now. We
Oh,
should be live. We should be on air right now. I
we
think we're live.
stream.
We are
We're
streaming now
streaming.
to
Hello,
the public
lads.
people.
Hello, London
Hello.
lads.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good
Oyo.
day to everybody, ladies
Oi.
and gentlemen,
Oi, oi, oi.
to this live stream. Got my good friend here, Benji Oyama.
Oh, yeah.
And we have 5 people already in the chat. Very good to see. Yeah, welcome. Okay, welcome everybody. It's we now have this live stream together. We're going to spend the next, I don't know how long, it might be 2 hours, might be 3 hours, might be the rest of your lives, maybe not the last option, but we're going to spend some time together. So Benji, how are you doing, brother?
I have places to go, David. Don't keep me that long.
Got to go places. Where do you want to go?
I want to be here right now. I want to be here with all you guys because we're going to tackle some important life topics and decisions for you guys. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let us know who's watching. Just write in the chat, what's your name? Where are you from? This is going to be an interactive live stream. So I just really want to spend time with you guys. When we have things we're going to talk about, but a lot of this live stream is going to be us responding to you, responding to your questions, to your comments. If you want to share something, we can put it on the screen. We can read your messages out loud if you want that. Whatever you need. Yeah. But Benji, what's the topic we're talking about today?
Well, we wanted to talk about this. You want to talk about this, David. This is from your heart. You send me, I think, a very long voice message expressing your desire to talk about this topic, which is something that apparently you have dealt with a lot as a single person, right? I probably dealt with it some years ago when I was single. I don't remember nowadays. Past earlier than 18 years old, pre-blessing, PB and PB, pre-blessing and post-blessing. Benji are very, very different. Very, very different people. What's up? Ilmi? Is that Ilmi? Good to see
Ilmi.
you.
Good to see
Ilmi
you.
from UK. Thanks for having you. Yeah. So I have this very distinct time in my life where, because I was, married, I married quite young relatively to some people. To me, it wasn't. And so I went from single and ready to mingle and then as soon as I was blessed in marriage with my wife, I turned on a switch and it was just like, everyone else, screw you guys, screw everyone out there. Like, I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm not available. And it was a very overt energy that I was putting off for the last 15 years. And I've been told this a few times by people that I have from female friends. Twice females have told me that I have a very go away, get lost, I haven't showered in a month kind of energy to me, which is something I'm proud of. So I keep my musty smell from my wife only. But I do know that for a lot of people that are pre-blessing and pre-marriage, like yourself, David, there's a lot of struggles in terms of how to navigate feelings of maybe sometimes hopelessness and dissatisfaction with progress, perhaps, and just not knowing how to move forward, especially when there's a host of different emotions and challenges that come up when you're single, right? There's this desire. I want to get blessed. I want to get matched. I want to, hey, what's up, Yulia? I want all of this, but at the same time, I'm struggling, with a lot of things, in the dark, sometimes by myself, sometimes. And that discrepancy is what we call a lack of integrity. At least it feels like a lack of integrity, but it might not be actually, which is interesting. But it feels like I'm torn because I really want this, but sometimes I just want to give up on this whole pursuit of the matching and blessing. And so that's kind of the overview of why we're here. But I really want to kind of hear from you. Everyone wants to hear from you. Why do you want to talk about this topic?
Yeah, no, it's great to have you on board as a blessed husband who can give more advice to people. That's not something I feel like in any position to talk about or give advice. But yeah, I do want to talk about this topic. And I was just reflecting the past couple of weeks because my job, my role within High Noon is to represent the blessing, by supporting the core program, by coordinating that program. I'm trying to represent the blessing, the ideal of the blessing, and I'm trying to approach it with a lot of passion, a lot of positivity, because I am genuinely very excited and happy. And the blessing for me is one of the coolest things ever. and I really do feel passionate whenever I think of the true meaning of the blessing that I feel so privileged to understand and to know. But I also am a human being with flaws and with challenges in my life, and I just feel like I want to be as authentic as possible. And as much as, even though I'm trying to bring a positivity and bring a good energy around the blessing in the core program right now, we currently have a Christmas cycle that's going on, and I'm trying to just engage people in the positive aspect of the blessing. I also want to acknowledge the difficulties too, and I don't want to hide that side of things. That actually, I also do feel challenged by the perilous, the long and winding and sometimes very difficult path towards the blessing that for many people can be incredibly long, incredibly painful, incredibly difficult. And I know many people that are on that path and feel quite alone on that path. And I don't feel alone personally, but I do feel challenged. That's for darn sure. I do feel challenged. So
what's the most challenging? Well, how long have you, like wanted to get blessed from the time you're like, okay, I want to get blessed until now? How long has this period been?
Good question. I think 17 was when I wanted to achieve the blessing. That's when I made the conscious decision. I don't want just any ordinary marriage. I want to get blessed. And I think I was 17 years old still when you came with the High Noon team to the UK. I remember sitting on my couch in my house that you came to visit, and I remember having a conversation with you about blessing. And I think I remember it went something with like, I kind of want to get blessed. And then you kind of just told me, well, why don't you get blessed right now? And I was just like, well, I'm 17 years old. I'm not quite sure I'm ready for that yet. But I really appreciated the questions you were asking me, because it was making me think seriously, like, okay, so what is actually holding me back from getting blessed right now? And it's been 3 years since then. And it's still a single guy. And I guess understand the blessing, and I feel more passionate about the blessing now than 3 years ago. But it's also coming up with a lot of challenges. And sometimes on a good day, I feel super excited about my future. And other days, I just feel like, oh gosh, is it ever going to happen? Is it ever going to happen?
Have you ever wanted to just give up completely?
Yeah, there have been times where it feels actually easier to give up rather than live up to a certain standard, because I don't want to just pass averagely in the blessing. I don't just want to settle for, I managed to find a way to go through some loopholes in order to get blessed by Chumother in Korea. I do want to present my full and best self, which has a certain expectancy on like the work you put on yourself, the understanding you have about what is the blessing and how to grow towards that. And I just don't feel like I'm at the place I want to be. I still have a lot to do, a lot to grow, and that can feel very challenging. On a bad day, it can feel easier just to give up on the ideal of the blessing.
What's a bad day look like for you?
I probably don't.
We all have bad days. We all have bad days, but I think it's relatable. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, as I'm speaking, I would love for everyone else to write in the chat as well if you relate, and if you want to maybe answer what does a bad day for you look like, or how do you relate to this? So I'd love to hear it in the chat. But yeah, for me, I think a bad day is I don't connect with people, and I just kind of I'm by myself. I'm trying to escape reality. I'm just trying to bury my difficult feelings by distracting myself with other stuff, whether it's YouTube or whatever, or just something which takes my mind off the challenges. And I just I don't want to connect to anybody on those days.
Yeah, I feel you there. Just for the record, Nick and Mia and Yulia and Maya and Ilmi, thanks for joining in with us. Just for the record, when I was asking David when he was 17, why don't you just get blessed today? I wasn't suggesting that he get blessed today. I was suggesting that it's a good mental process for everyone to go through, regardless of how old you are. If you are committed to something, anything in life, just ask yourself, well, why not today? If you want something, like, why not now? And what'll happen is that the answer to that question will help you identify where the roadblocks are, that the things that you need to work on, right? And so if the answer is like, well, I don't remember what you said at the moment. It's like, I'm 17. Okay, well then you just have to be a little older. and that's you just have to wait. Then it's just a waiting game. It's just a patience thing. And so what are you going to do in the meantime, right? So just to be clear that I'm not going around to countries and sitting on people's couches and saying, hey, why aren't you blessed? You're already 17 years old. What are you doing with your life? No, I'm not that guy. I know I was blessed when I was 18, but I would say that I made a really big risk at that. And when you're young, you're generally more risky in life. And I was willing to make a really big swing, take a really big swing, and marry someone that I very, very, very just met. And fortunately, I believe through ancestors and spirit world and the grace of God, we have, made it work through a lot of effort and a lot of conversations. So I don't know. So if you ask me now, like, oh, should people get young or older? I don't know. It's up to you. Make a decision and you just kind of go with it. And I feel like I do believe that God and spirit world have a guiding hand, an invisible force in our lives that is guiding us, right, to make these decisions. So that's what faith is ultimately. So yeah, bad days. That looks like a bad day. Anyone else have bad days? Greetings from Poland. Oh,
Cześć.
Yes. Awesome. I
Yeah.
love these Polish last names.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are fantastic. You never pronounce the W. It's V. So it's Lewandowski. Skoneczny. Yes.
Okay, we've got M. What's up, M? Do you know who M is?
I don't know, but let's read out. So yeah, hi, I was just about to throw the baby out the bathwater and give up the blessing. I hope you can encourage a lot of people with this call. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it does feel like you just want to throw everything away because it feels more painful. For sure. A question from Nikki. So what way did you feel like you needed to get ready after Benji asked you? When you were 17? That's a good question. For me, it was pretty obvious that sexual integrity was the first thing. That was like, okay, that's something I need to work on. Let's go for that. And that's definitely one of the main reasons why I think I'm still single, to be honest, is because I really want that to be a part of my life I'm fully in control of and I really do have the best possible version of myself I can give to my future wife, and that's something I've really been trying to work on over the past few years. And it just became very clear to me after meeting Benji and the rest of the High Noon team, like, yes, this is a part of my life I want to work on for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's beautiful, David. It shows, I would say, integrity, because integrity is not showing up perfect. It's showing up honest, regardless of our mistakes. And that is, we tend to not see ourselves like that because we are so wrapped up in our own heads, and we do have bad days, and those bad days compound to us just beating ourselves up. And it's like the dilemma of a highly religious person or a person of faith or consciousness is that we are so hard on ourselves. We're so incredibly hard. And I've experienced this so many times firsthand in my life where, it just compounds, the negativity compounds, the shadows compound, to the point where you just like question everything. But I always go back when I'm talking with someone that's like right in that depressive state. I always go back to the same heart, is just like, good for you for standing up. Like, good for you for always coming back to your beliefs and your values, because you could just throw out the baby. You could just throw out your beliefs. You could just throw out everything that you actually do believe and just go for the temporary gratification and wins of like, oh, well, it's so easy to justify. Let's put it that way, right? It's so easy to justify a life of just following your bodily instincts or bodily desires, I would say, of just sleeping around, watching porn, masturbating into oblivion. It's so easy to just to say, okay, you know what? The blessing's not for me. I've tried this, that, and the other. I've tried so hard and I can't get blessed. I'm just going to give up and do my own thing, right? It's easy to justify because most people do. Most people do. They do. Yes, there are plenty of religious people that have beautiful foundations and beautiful lives and prioritize good, godly things. Absolutely. There are so many of them, right? But if we look at like the collective majority, and you can see this just by looking at online culture, especially, right? Because that's kind of where a lot of the people are hanging out. It's obvious that there's like a general collective attention towards like just sleeping around. And it's just a really strong narrative that's going in this one direction. And so good for you. Anybody listening to this, good for you guys for standing up for something beautiful and actually meaningful, right? So we got these questions. You want to read them off? One from Maya Nunaya from Israel.
Yes, Maya Sasaki, one of our core facilitators as well. Yes. So, what meaning do you find in the blessing that is beyond a plain marriage? Why is the blessing, from a personal point of view / reason, more meaningful? I like this question. I like this question a lot. Benji, do you want to go first, or shall I go first?
You can go. I can keep talking, guys. Like, I will keep talking. So if you want me to talk less, let me know. If you want me to talk more, let me know. That's from Maya. Go ahead, David.
Okay, before I answer the question, I do just want to let everybody know the schedule for today, because we are going to hear a lot from Benji in this first part. So we have 3 parts of this live stream. So we're going to hear from Benji and his incredible expertise in supporting people with the blessing. We're going to hear from a sister as well from Poland, Sumi Dinowska. And at the end, we're going to hear from not Alisteri. That's the that's the Italian version. Alisteri. Awesome. No, Alistair, my good friend from the UK. So he will finish off with us together. That's the plan. That's the schedule. If you want to invite any of your friends to the live stream at any point, please do. We want to touch as many lives as possible. So yeah, let's bring up that question again from Maya. Okay, I'll go first from the perspective of a single person that's fighting for the blessing. I really understand that the blessing is a gift from God. And I mean that not just on a simple level, but that really it's the greatest gift that God can give us, that a man and a woman can come together in union and become like God through their sexual relationship. And that is very different from other sexual relationships that I see in the secular world. That's all about serving you. The blessing is not about serving you at all. It's about serving God, and it's about serving your spouse first. You should be prioritizing the pleasure, the orgasm of your spouse and God first. That I see as a huge difference, that you're not just trying to make sure that you feel good, but that your partner feels good. And I see the blessing as something which is not just, the way you get married in the church, but really it's about legacy for me. I want my children to inherit this beautiful culture, this beautiful atmosphere, spiritually and physically, that we have in our communities around the world. I want them to inherit these beautiful virtues and values that we have in our community. So for when I really think about the blessing, even though it's hard to achieve it because you have to be a good person and have to have your life in order, I think the long term it means so much to me to work towards it, for sure. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, I got you. Does that help you? Anyone? Maya? So I'm trying to be helpful with this question, David, not unhelpful. But so every major religion will have some sort of sanctity around sex inside marriage, right? At its core, every major religion at the core teachings has the sanctity of sex and the sexual union, the exclusive relationship. So how does the blessing, like that context in the blessing, make it different?
No, it's good. It's a good point to make. My understanding is the blessing is really distinct and different if you look at legacy, lineage, God's legacy, God's lineage. Christianity, okay, I'm not a Christian theologian, so I don't know the full scope of what they actually talk about when it comes to sex, but it's not normally talked about in Christianity, sex. I know that for sure. Many communities in the Christian church just don't talk about it at all. Whereas True Father did talk about sex a lot, and really emphasized that sexuality is meant to be the way that we give joy to God, but also carry on this beautiful legacy, that we expand God's family, God's lineage. So that's, for me, what differentiates the blessing from other religions, is that it's really about God's family.
Yeah, I would have to say that lineage is the key. The word of the day. I wish we had a banner, like a confetti banner. Lineage. You say the magic word. Because ultimately, this is where people struggle with the idea of the blessings, because on the surface, it does look very much the same as every marriage. It does. I mean, people get together exclusively with one person. They are together for life, hopefully. They go through struggles. They have some children. They, have jobs. they might make it. They might not. So on the surface, it very much does look exactly like marriage. And I think that's the reason people have a struggle with it, is because people are not looking what's underneath the surface. And so if you ask me personally, the blessing is only significant because of its spiritual implications. It's significant if it is practiced in the way that it's designed for, which is, like you're saying, David, like exclusive, selfless, not selfish sexuality inside the relationship, to use your sexual organ for my spouse and for creating children and for creating things, like, and for God, like those things, if done well, is a beautiful relationship. But if we ignore like these spiritual implications, and this is why faith is important in the context of the blessing. This is why I always emphasize to people, if you don't understand the blessing, then probably means you don't understand God and true parents first. You don't understand God's history, God's providence. You understand God's lineage. If you understood that, and you understand like the mission, the messianic mission of true parents, then the blessing is like, it makes sense. It just clicks. This is why my parents, your parents, your grandparents, right? The first generation of our movement that received the blessing, they did it. They joined this church not with the foundation of, I want to get blessed. That's a very interesting thing that people don't think about. Not many people, first gen, ask them, I have joined the church because they're like, I really want to get blessed and have a great family. Interesting, right? Why did first generation join? Because they were convinced and convicted in the ideals of Heavenly Parent, about God's heart, and of true parents and this world that we're going to create. And the byproduct is their secondary thing was like, okay, and part of that mission and that plan is for me to receive the blessing and have a blessed family. They didn't go into this first and foremost primary thinking about, I want a blessing, I want to get blessed. No, for them, it was faith first. That's what it was. It was faith first. And when you have that foundation of faith, then the substance of the blessing, it just makes sense. And so that's why people will go to the ends of the earth, will donate thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, fast for 21 days, by the way. It didn't used to be 7 days. People would have 3 spiritual children, fundraise for 7 years, and then get blessed, right? And now here we are. Oh, we're not going to have a blessing this year. Boo hoo. Like, talk to any first generation about that and say, oh, it's so difficult to get blessed. We have to sign papers and I have to pay $2,000, at least in the US, to get blessed. Yeah, well, travel back in time 40 years ago and you have to do all these fasting and conditions, have 3 spiritual children, do MFT fundraising for 7 years, pay thousands of dollars, go to Korea at a time where going to Korea was not that easy, and then still say, God, I'll do more. I want to do more. Like, that's all I have to do. All I have to do is do all this work and conditions, and then I get blessed. That's the attitude of someone that has faith. And it's not new, by the way. There are people that have that level of faith today. Blessed children, first generation, second generation, third generation. They are here. But my point is not to differentiate the attitudes towards the blessing between first and second gen or third gen. That's not my point. My point is it's the foundation of that strong belief and conviction in something that lays the foundation for a truly beautiful blessing, because no matter what, you will never give up. You won't. You will never give up. This is one of the most common questions I get from Q&A. Actually, every time I do Q&A live at workshops, do you know what it is, David? It's this. What would make it justifiable to break a blessing? Very common. Why? Because people want an out. People want to be able to say, well, he did this, she did that. Therefore, it's justifiable. It's reasonable to break the blessing and to divorce. You know what I say to that? There is no reason, none, to break the blessing. None. If both people are willing to grow and love and learn to love. There's nothing. Because you could throw anything at that couple. You could throw the kitchen sink, you could throw divorce, you could throw affairs, you could throw anything you can imagine at a couple that is committed to growing, anything. And they will say, okay, how can we grow through this? How can we learn to love each other more through this? This is why people can go through the most egregious things in their marriages and still land on top and have a more strong and beautiful blessing as a result. You guys might know some of these couples. And this is also why some couples don't make it. It's because they were not willing to learn from their mistakes. They were not willing to learn to give grace. They were not learning to grow ultimately. And when you have a person, even it just takes one person in a marriage that is not willing to love and to learn to grow. It only takes one person to make a marriage crumble. And so I don't like the question of, is it ever justifiable to break a blessing? No, never. Because people are looking for an out. Never. Because it doesn't matter. If you have people that are willing to take this blessing on and grow from it like it's intended to be, there's nothing. Okay.
No, really good points. Really good points. The thing that really stood out to me there is the word commitment. I think people today really suck at committing to anything, apart from maybe committing to themselves and their own self-gratification and committing to their own joy. I studied worldview studies for a whole year, looking into philosophy and ideology. And one thing I was studying was postmodernism. Mm-hmm. The idea that your life is your reality and you build your reality, your bubble, the way you want it, right? Your phone is your own universe. You are the god of your universe. Everything you do is the way you want it to be. And as soon as somebody pokes that bubble or makes you feel uncomfortable for 5 minutes, you cancel them, you expel them, you get rid of them, because you don't want anyone to pop that protective bubble of good feelings, you know? And I can really see how our entire society is plagued, is diseased by this postmodernistic idea of my sole purpose in life is to feel good. Why do we think that? The blessing is not about feeling good. Who said the blessing was about feeling good? God wants us to feel good. That I'm clear about. That I'm pretty sure is that God wants us to feel good in the blessing. But that's not why we get blessed, is that we feel good. We get blessed so that my spouse will feel good and God will feel good. My children will have a good life. That's the attitude I want to bring into the blessing. And I think many people don't realize that it's going to require commitment. So totally, Benji, I agree. Of course, there are many situations where, as you say, if one partner does not want to grow, I don't think that relationship is going to last, right? I'm pretty sure you've seen examples of that, but commitment is so key in my mind to what makes a good blessing work. And that's why I want to prepare for it, because I want to be able to commit fully and learn how to commit fully as a single person right now to the things that I do.
Yeah, well, what do you think about this question here from Nikki? I talked to an older brother recently. He said that when you feel naturally that you can invite an extra person into your life and take care of them is when you're ready for the blessing. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm going to be honest, like my sleep schedule is not where I want it to be. My cleaning schedule is not where I want it to be. It's hard enough for me to wash all my socks in the week, you know, so imagine I have to wash my wife's socks as well. Like, it's that kind of thing where I just really want to be able to take care of myself fully first. And yeah, anyway, it sounds like I'm basically like painting myself as a really unmarriageable person in this right now, but I think stay away. No, what I mean is I really want to be able to take responsibility for someone else. And to do that, I need to be responsible for my life first. I really do agree with this first gen, whoever he is, Nikki, I agree with him.
Oh, he said an older brother. I don't know if it's a first gen, but
an older brother,
anyway,
right.
Besides the point. So yeah, interesting. If you're willing to have an extra person in your life. Yeah, I mean, being ready is relative. I always say that the question is not, am I ready? It's, am I willing is a better question. And if you're willing, then you are ready. Willing to do what? Willing to grow despite whatever comes into your life. Willing to learn how to love despite both of you guys making mistakes in the relationship. And that's it. If you have a willingness, I think that is all it takes. And that is from, my personal experience. And I have a strong conviction in that for sure. Because I was 18 when I was blessed, and no 18-year-old is ready for marriage on paper, right? Like, I mean, there's a lot of things I could have had together in terms of, relational skills or social skills or personal responsibility. Yeah, personal hygiene, of course. There's so many things that I thought was like, yeah, I'm great at this. I'm so good. I know everything about women. And because of all the movies I've watched about romance, I know everything about women. This is genuinely how I thought, and boy, was I wrong. So, but I was willing. I was definitely willing to be wrong, and I was willing to learn. And I give myself credit for that, for sure. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I do want to mention though that we're talking about these wonderful ideals, right? About the blessing, and it sounds beautiful on paper, but actually, this comment I see in the chat here reminds me that actually, yes, the whole point of this is acknowledging how difficult it is to get to that ideal. This person is saying, I've also been in the process for more than a year of trying to get blessed, but still haven't been able to talk to anybody. Them not wanting to talk to me due to my age. Yeah, so people do struggle to find a partner. That is an aspect of it. Benji, you talk to thousands of people about this, right?
Yeah,
it's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a I would say it's an unfortunate reality that the majority of people are not able to see beyond their physical eyes and their physical senses. Majority, right? And so because of that fact, there is a statistical reality that I'm going to bring up here just because I think it's helpful and not to kind of fearmonger, all right? There is a statistical reality that for some people, it will be harder to have conversations and to get a foot in the door. Because you could have the most beautiful house imaginable inside, but if your outside does not reflect the expectations or desires of the people that are viewing for houses, they're not going to step inside the house. You get me? And so, which is unfortunate because we're operating in the realm of the blessing, which is operating on the level of souls and spirit and internal and eternal. And so it's really part of my mission, honestly, and all the content I make and podcasts I do is really to emphasize the point that internal comes first, especially in the context of the blessing. Internal always comes first. And if you find yourself looking through the lens of external first, which is okay at times, right? Obviously, we have to be realistic and look at things external. But if it comes to a point where we're always firstly looking through the paradigm of physical senses and external, what happens is that we actually limit God from working in that relationship. We actually limit what could be a beautiful soulmate experience, and we hinder that because we're saying, you know what? She's too old for me. He's too old for me. She doesn't want to live in my country. Her parents aren't in the church. He had this sexual mistake in the past. He watched porn once. Whatever the reason is, there's a million. He's too overweight. She's too overweight. Sorry. I'm trying to be equal here, right? I love this about True Father. If you read True Father's speeches, he chastised one gender really hard. And he was like, women, you have to be like this. And then he always said, and men, you have to do it too. He always counterbalanced. If you notice this, he says, men, you can't be like, you have to, especially when we talk about like the sexual organ. He's like, your sexual organ is for your wife. And then he'd go turn to the women and say, and yours is for your husband. He always tried to counterbalance. You can notice this, right? Which is a very diplomatic thing for him to do, a very wise thing for him to do. And so it doesn't matter. Like externally speaking, if we're looking through this, the lens of what are seeing our physical senses, you are by definition, limiting what spirit world might be asking of you, guiding you. And it sounds innocent because we are inculcated to believe that it's my prerogative and my choice and my right to say, okay, I need someone this tall. I need someone of this skin tone. Of course it's your right. It's your life. But we're not talking about this. Like David just said, we're not talking about what feels good to me in the moment. We're talking about an eternal relationship here. And an eternal relationship by definition is an internal, spiritually divine, a spiritually led relationship. And so we have to be able to put those external preferences down for just a second. Just pocket it for a little bit, not forever. Just pocket it a little bit, put it in your back pocket. And then And then on that foundation, you have clean lenses to look at everyone. And so you meet someone, you have a conversation with someone that is, older than you, perhaps, maybe younger than you, maybe different in many different ways. But guess what? That might be exactly the life lessons and path that you need in your life to grow to the full person that God sees you as, that you potentially have. It will be the exact person that is right for you. Because if you marry someone that is exactly like you, that has all the preferences for you, guess what? Your life is going to be boring and you're going to hate each other. And you're probably not going to grow that much. Yeah. And so there's some divine wisdom when your father was talking and saying like, hey, marry someone from an enemy country of yours, totally different from you. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You guys don't know this, but most of the blessed families in Korea, do you know their nationality? If you were to guess. Japanese, Korean. If you meet the second gen, the blessed children there, most of them are Japanese or Korean descent, parents. We didn't know that because we assume everyone's Korean. No, your father matched hundreds of thousands of Japanese and Korean couples to have these blessed families. You couldn't get a more different and difficult relationship at that time, like in the 70s, in the 80s, than a Japanese and Korean couple coming together. That takes foresight. That takes some true, like, beyond imagining foresight and wisdom and unconditional faith in those couples, just to say, you know what? Okay, father, mother, Japanese, Korean, let's do it. And they did it. And God bless them. And we know it's hard. Gosh, we know it's hard. Even just marrying a woman is hard for me. Just marry someone of the opposite gender. That's hard enough. And you add layers of complex emotions and cultural nuances and language barriers. It can be really hard stuff. But that's the plan. That's part of it. That's the whole plan that your parents had, isn't it? It's like this relationship. It's through the struggles that we learn to come out on top. It's through the hard times that we learn to love harder, period. End of story. Full stop, right, David? And that's the blessing to me. Going back to this question, it's like, that's it. Every single day, you have an opportunity to learn, to experience God's love in a more divine way every day. And practice that with your spouse, with your children, and with people around your community. Every day, you are afforded a bigger opportunity to grow in your love. That's the whole point. And that's the beautiful thing. So to me, the blessing is the deepest experience possible, available to us in all of history, to experience God's love in that level, beyond ever before. And then people are like, oh, well, the blessing's hard and people don't make it. Yeah, I know people don't make it. That's not the blessing's fault, by the way. It's so funny when people are like, yeah, the blessing doesn't work because my parents got divorced. Well, they suck at marriage. Like, that's what's happening. Like, people suck at relationships. It's not the blessing's fault. It's not true parents' fault. Oh, my parents struggled so much, therefore true parents. Like, no, I'm sorry your parents struggled, but that was their relationship. They chose that relationship. And unfortunately, they weren't very good at it. No one's responsibility or fault. It's just a reality. It's just how it is. Okay. So that's the answer to that question. What else?
Yeah, no, super. Really, really good to hear from your insights from talking to so many couples and seeing so many couples try to do this blessing thing that should really work. But no, I totally agree with you. This is not to be mean, but I really do realize that people do just suck at relationships, and that's that's a product of the fall. That's just if you look at human history, I love history, and you look at most of the big key characters: George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. I guess more American, but all the Winston Churchill, all the incredible people, Genghis Khan. Yeah. Everyone had issues with relationships because it's so hard to do right. And I think so the fact that we are actually, and I'm kind of saying this to myself, to be honest, because I often doubt myself, am I going to be a good husband one day? Am I a good brother right now? Am I a good son? All these things. I think it's quite hard to expect us to be perfect. And you Benji made a podcast related to this topic earlier this week on the same topic. And you were saying how making mistakes is really a big part of everything, that we need to grow from our mistakes, and making those mistakes is really important to learn and grow. And I think we need to be kinder to each other,
Mm.
to ourselves. That's one of my goals right now, is actually to be kinder to myself, because I often beat myself up when I fall down, and I'm very blessed to have good friends who fight to give me love, in a sense, and they go, no, David, damn it, just shut up and let us give you love right now, stop being mean to yourself. Like, honestly, you're worthy of love, and that really helps, because you need to hear it sometimes, tough love and soft love. And I think I want everyone to feel that love. But I also want to acknowledge that we have a bunch of sisters in this chat who are probably thinking, well, there's two dudes here, but I want to hear a sister as well share stuff. So Benji, do you want to welcome our sister up? Do you want to say hi to our
Sure.
sister?
Hello, sister.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
You're
Hope my
here.
internet is good.
It is good. Hey,
You're
Sumi,
here,
how
but,
are you doing?
Welcome.
Just a little background. Who are you?
Okay.
Where are you? What are you doing?
Okay, so my name is Sumi Danowska with a hard Polish surname, as you can see. Yeah, I'm from Poland, half Japanese, half Polish. Currently living in Warsaw, and why I'm here, it's probably because I got blessed this year. I did it, Mom. I did it.
Hey, congrats.
I am blessed, so yeah, here to talk about that. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, fantastic. I really wanted to get the female perspective on this live stream, and not to say that Benji's words are not valid fully because he's not a woman. I love what Benji is saying, but I do want some equality here. So we want to have a sister's perspective. And also, yeah, I was super lucky actually to be at the blessing when Sumi got blessed. I was in the stadium. I couldn't quite find her because there's thousands of other people, but I was there. So it's quite a recent thing. And yeah, I want to give Sumi the chance to share about how she overcame her challenges to get blessed. And yeah, if you want to send any questions in the chat, guys, please do. You have a guest here who you can send as many questions as you want whilst we have her for the next half an hour or so. Benji, do you want to stay on, or do you want to?
I will jump off and just listen so you guys can chat. You got it.
Thank you so much, Benji, for everything. Yes.
Thank you.
Take care. So yeah, Sumi, what do you want to share with our brothers and sisters today?
Can you repeat? Because I don't know if my internet got you quite well.
Yeah, sorry. Don't worry. So if it cuts out, it's fine. I'll repeat. So yeah, I just want to ask you, what is the thing that you want to share?
Is this me who's not hearing you well? Wait a minute. I might have to change my network for this.
Let's change the network. So whilst we do that, if anyone wants to send any questions in the chat or write any comments, please do. And maybe if you send some questions in the chat now, then Sumi can answer to some of the questions. How's that? Can you hear me better, Sumi?
I cannot hear you. Could anyone just maybe write in a chat if it's me or is it David? Because we are not sure here.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Can you hear? Benji, you're on mute.
It's you. It's you. I'm pointing at you, Sumi. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Sumi needs to sort out her network. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear us both. Okay.
Oh, it's okay. Wait a minute. Because I can hear Benji, but I cannot hear David.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I could hear David just before, but he just cut off the second.
It's probably your internet. So
okay.
Why don't you jump off and then try to fix it and then come back on? Is that okay? That's what I recommend.
Sounds good. You can hear me, Benji, right?
And then I can hear you. We're just ignoring you.
Yeah.
Shunning of David. I'll just put on my wife for a second. Yeah. I always felt really insecure about this point about, because my wife is someone I talk about a lot, right? And I always felt very insecure because I was like, well, people want to hear from her. They definitely want to hear from my wife. But I ask her all the time, do you want to share something? She's like, no, she just doesn't. She doesn't have an ounce of desire to share. And so what I started saying, which I feel good about, is, hey, this is all my experience based on my 15 years with my wife. So I represent her in spirit, right? Like, she's behind me. I wouldn't be here without her. But I also say, if you want to message her, you can message her because she's more of a one-on-one person. And so sometimes she gets random messages from people, and that makes me so happy. She's like, but she's so happy. She's so happy to receive messages. Just so you guys know, and that's why I say she loves people. She loves everyone. She remembers people. Like she has this ability, like the Oracle from the Matrix. She has this ability to just know everything and remember everyone. So I promise, like this is my Uncle Benji guarantee. If you message her, she will remember you for the rest of her life. Like that's just how she is, because she will talk about you and she will think about you and she'll wonder, is like, oh, I wonder if that person's doing well. And she will, not, when I say talk about you, not like in a gossipy way, just like, I wonder if they're having a good time in that, or anytime we'll talk about that country that you're from, she'll mention you and like that kind of thing. So yeah, I recommend reaching out to her if you ever want to hear. How you doing, Sumi? You're here?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh,
Just
cool.
some external forces.
And you can hear David?
Can you hear me
Yes,
now, Sumi?
yes, perfect.
Sweet.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Fantastic. Yes. And we'd love to hear, well, we'd love for people to reach out to Hitue as well. So if you guys want to reach out to Hitue or Yama, Benji's wife, please do. But I want to talk to this wife that's here. Actually, yeah. So who are you blessed to? That's the question I want to ask you.
Okie dokie. Just before we start with the testimony, I was kind of feeling of like maybe splitting the whole thing in 5 parts, if that's okay. Because, paying attention is hard. So, yeah, if you don't mind, let's gamify the whole testimony a bit.
Let's gamify.
So let's start with a stage 1. So stage 1 would be in my early years. I would say something like when I was like really young. Let's say as a second gen, you get born into the movement. So basically, how it looks like, it's like you're a kid, you're naive. All you know is like, yeah, people get blessed when they get adults, and I felt like, oh, it's like getting like a gold medal of sorts. So you have this gold medal, you got blessed, you did it in life. Yes, you're good to go. So during this stage, like my main, let's say like a boss fight would be like kind of learning how to counter my naiveness, how to like kind of get to know a lot of people and work on yourself to like kind of grow out. Also, it's a natural process. So that was the stage 1. Stage 2 would be like around my teenage years. There's like, you can see a certain shift from feeling like, oh yeah, blessing is something that happens, to more like, oh, I don't feel great about myself, so I feel like I don't deserve the blessing. So I feel like I am a person that is not, like, let's say, of a standard to be blessed, or I'm not a person that that is just worth anything to someone else. Like, I cannot bring any value to somebody else, and it mainly stems from just the feeling of like, oh, I am a person that just basically hates myself. So basically battling my depression and just my negative thoughts that time would be like this, like a biggest challenge during this stage. And just the problem with self-image, and like how I can just develop like a normal relationship with people if I'm like constantly thinking, oh, like, oh, how is this person viewing me? Am I ugly to them? Or like just many extra thoughts that make you not listen to other people, that make you just not listen to yourself, to God, and anyone else in your life. And it's just like a toxic roller coaster that just brings you nowhere. So yeah, during this time, my way of getting out was one advice from one sister from Austria. She basically said how during her life, when she was like not feeling good about herself and like not wanting to get blessed, she wrote like a letter to their parents, basically, because I felt a lot of shame about myself and my life. So I thought, oh, maybe this is something that I could do. So basically, what I did just before one workshop, just like few few minutes before leaving, I had like a full-on few pages long letter that I wrote like everything, every sin, everything that I did, like every shameful thing that I ever done in my life. I just basically wrote it down and I just gave it to my parents. I here read this. I gotta go do some workshop. Bye. So I escaped for 1 week, but after that, after I faced them and they were like, oh yeah, like no matter what happened, we love you. And through that process, I learned to like lean more on my parents. I learned to love myself a bit more. And thanks to that, I built up more confidence in like who I am and just, started to really open up to people, to God. And basically that made me more like kind of believe in maybe I should give the blessing like or blessing and matching like a try. Maybe I can grow to be someone who's worthy of that. So after that, I developed this like kind of in stage 3, this crazy like this just sheer need or like this sheer like this cry for help, like I want to be loved so much because I'm still struggling, that I kind of wanted to get blessed so fast so somebody else can do that work for me. So I could not find internally that kind of source of like I love myself. So I was like, oh, I want to get blessed to find it externally so somebody else can do it for me. And because of that, uh, that made me actually very like they have very unhealthy relationship and expectations for other brothers. And it's just because of it I had like these crazy expectations of like, oh, the brothers that should love me should be this and this and that and that. So basically, listing all the needs that I need in order to feel loved, which were mostly like very unrealistic and just selfish, straight, just to just call it out straight. So yeah, because of that, I learned that I am just I am in the need of like healing, like very deeply first before I get into a relationship with someone, because I didn't want anyone to deal with that. Because me myself, I had in just so much just hate towards myself, and I was scared to like just shift that hate to from myself to somebody else. So that's where actually core program is super helpful. I joined I think it was the third, maybe second, not sure, third cycle, where Samara was my facilitator, and through her, how she talked about her relationship, I actually learned like how, oh, actually a relationship can be just so loving and beautiful. And that actually, like reading uh, the book also, that made me kind of encouraged to also talk about my parents more, about their relationship. And through that, I actually got so much help, which leads me straight to the to stage 4, which is like a very interesting stage. Like thinking about like uh, just thinking about all the other stages. It's a stage where I was like very feeling like, oh, for the first time in my life, I had this very strong feeling of like, oh, I don't want to get blessed. But it's not because I don't feel good enough. It was more like I didn't want to get blessed because I felt like just this negative feeling. I had a very negative feeling about it, and it stems from very interesting experience that I had with first generation, which was during one of my very close friends' blessing. After the blessing, they came to me, and a lot of first generations, they would come to me throughout the whole year, just talk about one thing. Okay, when will you get blessed? So when are you getting blessed? And just like very, that was the only one topic. So it kind of made me feel like I was going crazy because I'm like, oh, is this the only topic that I can talk to them about? And this is where I was like kind of misunderstanding their intentions because they were really coming from their place of heart. They wanted me to have like a beautiful life, and me personally, I just could not understand like this very artistic, uh, artistic place that they were coming from. And yeah, and basically that made me also realize that before I want to get into blessing, I want to have a better relationship with my community. And because when you are getting blessed, you're inviting the person to also to a community. It's not just like your family, yourself. It's also your brothers and sisters in the community. And I knew I had a very good community. I just wanted to be more honest with the first generation. So that started like a healing process where I was thinking, how can I just heal this viewpoint of mine that I have? That was my first step. And I realized I had a very complicated relationship with like where like the free blessings and like everything else. Basically, I took it as a just words, never really internalized, never really made it mine. So it was a process where for the first time in life, I was just thinking, okay, what's my reason for going to blessing? So that was the first time where I was thinking, why do I, as a person, want to go to the blessing? Not why my parents want me to go to blessing, why my first generation wants me to go to the blessing. So through that, I kind of learned what are my values and why I do want to go there. Like, and I really just through that, I really realized like, oh, I really love my community and like how we feel like one big family. And thanks to that, I was just, it just opened my eyes to just like a whole new thing. So yeah, by battling that, I finally got to a stage 5 where I had this very big calmness. So I didn't need any kind of validation, let's say, per se. I didn't have like a long list of like what my husband should be like. I had this like very big like, oh, I just want to get to know someone and I feel ready to get to know someone. And I basically told my parents that I'm ready and let's just go with it. And through that spirit alone, like very quickly, I got like my mother said, "Oh yeah, I met another mother, and would you be interested?" And thanks to that, my first this like I had a very like this spirit of like, oh yes, I want to make it work. And like the brother had a very also similar mindset, and thanks to that, by first matching actually turned to blessing. So here we are.
Wow, that's a really amazing testimony to hear, because you walked us through what it's like to go through all the steps, right? From being a child who doesn't quite understand what the blessing is, to being a teenager that's having all those mixed feelings about do they even like themselves, right? And then really wanting love, and then realizing that you need to be able to find love in other places in your life first, and then being at a place where you're like, okay, I'm gonna make it work with somebody. It's fantastic. It's fantastic to hear. Yeah, I want to give everyone watching live the opportunity to ask you more questions about your story and what you can say. But yeah, I really enjoyed hearing that testimony. It's nice to hear as well from myself. I've not been in a process yet or anything, so I'm still, I guess, in that stage I think it's level 4, maybe you were saying, of like wanting love, right? But being not quite sure about how to get it yet, and how to make sure I'm receiving enough love from my other relationships right now. I think sometimes we can, because we have a lot of rules in our in our divine principle, right? And one of them is the 4 stages of love, right? There's the parent-child realm, there's the sibling realm, the conjugal realm, and then the parental realm. I think sometimes we can forget that, well, actually, we should really be mastering all the other realms first, right? And making sure that we have, the parent-child realm being a child first, that we master that. We're a good filial child, but then we also have good sibling relationships with our friends. So, yeah, I think we need. I'm kind of saying this to myself, really. I want to really work on that. I really want to work on making sure that my relationship with myself is not one of craving love so desperately that I'm willing to let's say, go against some of my principles to receive that love, some of the things I stand for. And I think that desperation to be loved is maybe one of the reasons actually why I feel like I'm struggling right now with sometimes feeling like the blessing is too hard, because it feels like that love is something I'm not going to receive for a long time. Actually, I want to dive into that point a little bit more from your story, Sumi. Do you feel like that's something that made you almost give up on the idea of the blessing? This idea of this feeling of wanting to receive love, but knowing that you have to wait longer. Was that an issue for you, and how did you deal with it?
Okay, so this like crazy need definitely was something that made me uh just just rethink if I am like a good person to even get blessed to. Uh and just generally I feel like just people who are just struggling with their self image and just self love, uh, they will have a lot of struggles with like, it's not only about like loving yourself, but you will struggle also about loving others. For me especially, it was a problem with like let's say my like appearance. I would be so insecure that it came to a level whenever somebody was asking from sisters, like, oh, do I look good in this? Do I look good in that? I wouldn't be able to even formulate something to compliment them because I was just not able, I wasn't able to just see somebody's external beauty and just like anything just made me have like very tunnel vision. And through that uh, through that I really realized like, oh, I have to get better at this. So basically through like mainly my parents, I think I learned to be able to, I through their words of like, oh yeah, you are worth all the love that we're giving you. You are somebody very like precious. Through that, I basically learned to, oh yeah, uh, God loves me, and God is like have forgiven all my sins all like long time ago. I just need to, am I ready to forgive myself? So thanks to that, I just got more energy and like more courage to like kind of explore myself and like find power to also find power to just look into the mirror and just kind of realize, oh yeah, I'm a God's child. So yeah, I would say something. It will be like this. I don't know if I kind of uh, reply to your question properly. It's just, yeah.
No, I think that definitely answers the question from how you dealt with it, right? I think for everyone it's going to be different, but no, I think you make a very clear point about realizing that you're a child of God, right? Fundamentally, and that you're worthy of love no matter what you do. And that for me is another reason why I believe in the blessing so much, is because of the grace of God, right? God really wants to give us the blessing. God really wants us to experience the greatest joy. And that's another reason why I want to fight for the blessing. I want to work hard for it, because I know that I'm not going to receive that love anywhere else in the world. If I neglect God and I neglect God's love, I don't think I'm going to experience that anywhere else. So yeah, I thank you for sharing how you were able to feel that love before. We do have some questions in the chat. Actually, a lot of it is to do with the sound of your mic. It sounds like a typewriter when you speak. There's a little bit of ticking noise. I'm not sure if you can fix that, but if not, there's a question in the chat. I'm just going to go back. Okay, so the question here: what point in your faith made you feel comfortable to get blessed? That's for you, Sumi.
I would say it will be a moment where you kind of make faith your own, I would say. I don't know, it's clear. I don't know if it's like if it's clear if I say it this way, but it's just, for me it will be a moment where I am like, I know why I'm here and what I want to do here. And just like kind of not even like having a clear vision, but just like general overview of what you want to do in life. I would say for me that would be a good place to feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. No, totally, it makes sense. Rather than borrowing our faith from our parents and pretending, or just kind of going along with what our community is doing, we actually become the owner, right? We take responsibility for what we believe. That's what I'm hearing you say, right? Can you hear me? I think you turned off your mic. Okay, I can hear you now. Wait. That's way better. Keep it that way. Keep it that way. That's way better.
Okay.
I can sound you so much better. There we go. So I was just saying, well, I was repeating back what you were saying. So taking ownership of your faith, right? Rather than inheriting it or kind of going along with what the community believes, but actually taking responsibility for our faith, right? That's what you mean. Yeah.
Okay. I am so sorry. I think it's my I don't know if it's like East what is it called? East European internet, could be that.
Okay, everyone, let's get our purple jackets on and start doing some Chanyang. We'll dispel these evil demons and make sure the connection goes well. Let's do that. Wait, you can hear me now though, right? Okay. We'll try our best. Okay, do we have any more questions in the chat? Let's have a look. Let's see, what do people want to ask to either me or Sumi? If Sumi can answer, that's a big contributing factor. Let's have a look. This is the opportunity for all the sisters here to hear from a sister as well. So if you want to ask anything, you can show it. You want to hear my view, Nicholas? Okay. I mean, I agree with Sumi for sure. No, totally. I think. Well, I see this question in two ways, actually. I'm going to say that. I see faith as in my faith in this movement and the blessing and my understanding of the blessing. There's one thing. But then there's also the belief in, is it possible for me? Is it possible that I can achieve it? Do I have faith in myself? I see that as two different ways of looking at it. So I 100% agree with what Sumi said on the first version. So if I'm going to look at, do I have faith right now that the blessing is something possible for me? That's honestly why I wanted to do this live stream, because my answer for that right now would be not really. I'm still working on it. I do feel like I don't fully believe that I'm ready or to get blessed, and I want to welcome myself more, and I want to stay true to that feeling. I don't want to go into the blessing, which I believe is an incredible commitment, when I don't truly believe that I can do a good job. And I know people can get stuck for a long time feeling like they're never going to be ready, right? You know, when actually it's going to take a bit of courage. I think I'm going to have to be courageous at some point and go, okay, I'm not 100% perfect. I don't think I ever will be perfect. Perfect is not something we can achieve before the blessing. I don't think. I think perfection is something which is, well, we know it's not always attainable, because there's always room to grow. But what I mean is, do I feel like I'm the best version of myself before the blessing? I don't think. Yeah, I definitely know I don't want to go into the blessing where I feel like I'm not ready to take responsibility for her life as well as mine. So if I look at faith at that side of things, like, do I have faith that this will work? I want to be confident. I want to feel like an owner of that my destiny, my future is something I decide on my own. I don't want other people to tell me I'm ready. I don't want other people to say now's a good time to get blessed. I want to feel it in my heart that, okay, now I'm ready to go for it. That's how I would answer the question. I hope that makes sense, and that answers the question well for you, Nikki. Yeah, Sumi, can you hear me now? You can. Okay, can you try to say something just so we can test if it works?
Just more or less.
Wow, that's so much better. Okay, fantastic. Okay. So any questions for Sumi before we move on in this program? Let's see what the chat says. I'm going to play around. Oh, great. We have the chat here. That's nice. We do have one more guest coming on this live stream, which is my dear brother from the UK. But yeah, I also want to look through some of the notes that I took going into this live stream. There's a few things I thought were very important to chat about, which I think, Sumi, maybe you can help me as well, as someone who's blessed to confirm if these things are important. I wanted to talk a little bit about connection with our parents, actually, our biological parents, and how important I think that is before the blessing. I want to ask you, how much did your relationship with your parents influence the way you got blessed, but also your current marriage right now with your husband? Do you think that your relationship is playing a part in the way you relate to your husband right now? I'm curious. Yeah.
So I would say, if you feel like, when you're living your life, let's say, and you think, oh yeah, I'm never gonna be like my parents, that actually super not true. Because we as a people, we like to look at people and learn by what they do, not really the lectures. It's just really the practice that really stays with you as a child, and it kind of translates into your marriage life. So me with my parents, I am in a blessed position where my parents made a lot of effort to actually reach out to me first. And yeah, I just ignored it as a teen, but after, there's still hope. There's always hope. But after me realizing, oh shoot, I actually missed a good chance to like connect to my parents when they were reaching out, I made an effort to kind of reach out to them. And yeah, they've been a great support throughout the whole blessing. And now when I look at me and my spouse, I do have to say I see a lot of similarities. Even my mom, for example, whenever I am cooking, like let's say he's working, I would do something that my mom has habit of doing. Like I would like, for example, he asks for some food, I would like kind of shove it, like slide it if he's busy, and just like kind of just do this one. I don't know, like a shrug, or I don't know what is it called. So yeah, it's like almost in like the smallest of things you kind of start to resemble your parents in your marriage. And I think it's very important to be aware of that, because of course it's not only the nice things, unfortunately, also how you discuss your problems, how you or just how you don't discuss your issues. For I have the very big problem of giving somebody the silent treatment when I'm angry. And if I wouldn't be aware of it, that's how my parents are struggling to communicate with each other when there's an issue. I wouldn't react so quickly to kind of resolve the issue. So yeah, I would say parents are a big part of relationship later on that you have with your spouse, and it's really good to be aware of that.
I didn't catch that, but that's because my connection just died. But I hope that everyone else could hear what you were saying. Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at the chat, catching up. Okay, whew, gosh, that's a nightmare putting on these live streams. Internet is a real beast. I bet what you said was good for me because I know you well, and I think you have a lot of good things to say. Yeah, okay. What else? Just looking at the chat. Okay. So here's an interesting question I have, Sumi. Last question I think I have for you. Let's have a bit of fun with this. Let's weigh up the pros and cons of getting blessed versus not getting blessed. And I want to play devil's advocate here and represent the people that would maybe argue that the blessing is not something you should go for. And I want you to, as a blessed sister, stand up for why a person should get blessed. Let's have a bit of fun with it. So Sumi, I want to ask you, why did you put yourself through all that effort, keeping your virginity until the blessing, not being with relationships with people, or trying to stay away from men, attractive men for so many years? You were in your 20s when you got married. You didn't have you were not married at 17, 18. Why did you go through all of that hard work when you could have just had a boyfriend at 13 and had a wonderful teenage life experiencing sexual love with somebody? Why? Tell me why.
Okay, David, before we start, I don't know if it's just me because my internet today is acting up so much, but am I going to keep talking to the black void? I don't know if it's the same for others. Is it like a artistic choice of yours, or is it really just my internet?
Yeah, no, David's, your camera's all weird. It's like black
Ooh,
void.
okay.
But you can keep talking. Just pretend he's there, everyone.
Just pretend I'm here.
He's
You
there.
can hear him, which is nice.
I could be artistic choice just to represent, the dark side. All right. Why? That's a very good question. For me, it would be definitely if you look at the people nowadays. Let's say there's so many dating sites, there's so many apps, so many ways you can meet other people. But let's say, what is the guarantee the people that you're gonna meet are going to have the same values as you? And that would be for one. For two, I would say definitely something that has blessing has such a big appeal to me is the constant effort that people are putting in to get married, and that, in my opinion at least, makes them much more marriageable people, because it's a group of people that are taking it seriously, that are really willing to put in work to not only just perfect themselves, but are also like open to like hearing your side. I might be mostly talking about my husband here, so I hope it's like relatable stuff. And other than that, I think why not having boyfriends along the way, or girlfriends or whatever, is had a big like a plus for me was definitely you don't have memories of that other person. Or since I know my husband has never been with anyone else, I am not hugging him and feel like because I am a person who gets very easily anxious, very easily jealous, and like has a lot of attachment, whatever issues, there's a whole palette of them. I am quite sure I have a bunch of those. So yeah, I would say thanks to just me knowing that he stayed committed. I don't have to be, wondering in my mind, thinking about all these other women and just like constantly comparing myself, because women have an issue with that, with comparison. So yeah, I would say definitely these three for me would be already enough reason to get blessed.
Interesting. Am I still black stuff? Just checking. Or am I really? That is interesting. Okay. Well, at least you can hear my voice. So I want to say that's interesting what you're saying, but why save yourself for one person when it comes to your sexual relationship? Surely you would know how to have sex well if you practice with many different people, right? Surely that would be a great way to learn is by having sex with different people and becoming better at it, so that when you do get married, you're an expert at sex. So why would you not do that and risk looking awkward or inexperienced with your wife, with your husband, sorry, when you first get blessed? Why would you do that?
That's such a funny question. I don't think nobody ever asked me that question. Okay. So yeah, valid question, of course. For me, it will be, so think about, one thing about sex is like, I feel like for women, I hope I am quoting the newest scientific finds that I read some time ago. I hope it's still relevant. But when I read those scientific papers, it did say about the psychological like I would say bond that women have with men. So basically for women, when you have sex with them, they do get very emotionally attached. The more you have sex, the more attached you get. And just just doing it all over the place, not only is, of course, as we know, health reasons why it's not recommended, uh, but just generally it just makes you just try to get, like, your hormones and like your mind and everything is trying to get attached to all of these people that are just just here for just one night. And generally it's just something that for me, like, not only from I'm gonna kind of expand that question of yours a bit, just not just having sex with other people, but also why I wouldn't recommend watching porn. It's just because for me personally, it's like it's something that really shows you how it should be done, right? So I would say because of that, you kind of get very, like, super, like, fixated on how it looks, this particular thing. So, and that strips you of like opportunity to like actually create something very unique and meaningful just with your spouse. And there is a whole beauty to, like, you're having your first time and like being super awkward, but I guarantee you, as long as there is love and you feel safe in that relationship, it's gonna be laughed off and it's gonna be a special experience in its own way. Doesn't have to be super like cinematic, very like professional. I feel like these, like, having like these first steps is just as beautiful as just running at full speed. Just for example, when a kid walks on the first time, of course it's awkward, but we don't go just shaming the little child. Oh, you cannot walk. Oh, look at me, I can walk so great. So yeah, it's a bit like walking for me.
I see. I like your points. Okay, I'm gonna drop the act of being a person that doesn't believe in the blessing. No, it was really cool to hear how you defended that. Explaining why you think it's still powerful, it's still important to uphold these standards, and that we don't need some of those other, let's say, fun and exciting experiences before the blessing, right? I think many people might think the blessing is quite boring because you're just with one person for a long time. Eternity is quite long, if my maths is correct. So yeah, I think the reality, from what I've heard, rather than chasing after, like the first time many times, right? So yeah, I think it's really beautiful to hear. But more for you personally, Sumi, what would you say was the biggest pro in getting blessed, and what was the biggest con, or maybe not con, but maybe the thing that was the most difficult for you in choosing a life of the blessing?
Biggest con would be, I don't know if it's like exclusive to the, is it, how to phrase it nicely? It's not only like getting like a person for your eternity, it's like also getting your best friend, because we just are people who are, let's say, on the same page with many values and just so many things that actually made me just feel very comfortable and just made that person just my best friend in real life. But also a big pro would be you just get connected with such a much bigger family. So it's not just you in this blessing, it's like a lot of people that also are working on like having a very integrated and loving family. Then I think that's such a big plus of like you're not getting just the person, you're getting like a whole community, whole thing. So I would say for me that would be one of the biggest pros in the blessing. And yeah, just I think personally, because just looking about dad and mom sometimes, just because not everyone in my family actually chose to get blessed. And I could like from like my parents, like I could see how much it meant for them, thanks to just uh just my choice. I could tell how much it meant for them during the blessing. Like I saw my dad cry for the first time during the blessing, so I was like, oh wow. So yeah, I made him happy, and I think I took a lot of pride in that, but also like I felt like, oh, I could say thank you to my dad in a proper way. So that would be a huge pro. Con in getting blessed, um it's a hard one, I gotta say. I mean, of course it puts you in a situation where you like feel like you cannot take a break with like a, because I feel I'm in a position where I feel like I cannot just say, oh, screw this man, I'm just going somewhere else. But it's like also I can see a con. Okay, it does put you in a place of a lot of responsibility, and I can see why it can be a big, let's say, a big minus for a lot of people. For me, it also from time to time feels like because it makes me sometimes feel like, oh, I have to put up, even if I had a huge fight just before with my husband, I feel like I have to put up like a nice face for everyone. But I feel like it's not just for the blessing, if you get blessed or not. It's just generally in life you want to put up like a image. So yeah, I would say it's a bit hard for me to take a name a con, but yeah, sorry.
No worries. Thank you for giving your honest answer. Actually, I really liked hearing your points. So yeah, thank you so much, Sumi, for sharing. Yeah, I want to bring on our third guest as well. And I think if any more questions come into the chat that are more sister oriented, then I might bring Sumi back on. So if you don't mind just chilling in the waiting room for a bit, I think I'm going to do that. And you're about to see this lovely black space that apparently I am right now. I hope that, yeah, I think I'm still black. That's really frustrating. Anyway, you can still hear my voice. Oh, hey, Benji.
Hey,
I'm just here, so it's not just black. Have some color in your life. David, you
Yep.
good? You good? Okay.
Yes. You can hear me, yep.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Maybe how about you introduce our next guest?
Yes, I will do that. I want to do this because I had a dream about this brother last night.
Wait,
You're in my
okay.
dream.
Sounds good.
You're in my dream. It was the type of dream that you don't want to say publicly. It's nothing weird, nothing like that. Just it was a little bit, cancelable type of a good dream, Alistair. You came to my house and we had a good time together. So welcome up, Ali. Alisteri.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We're good.
Fantastic. Damn, Ben, my heart was in my mouth there. I was thinking, what?
I know,
what
I
is
know how weird this sounds, but let me explain, okay? In my dream, there were one of the London lads, as I call them, you
Uh-huh.
and like Tiger and Mark and all these guys, right? That I've had the privilege of meeting over the years. You guys all happen to live in the same area, which is weird. And you were all at my house in my dream last night because one of you guys was getting married in my house.
Wow.
We were having a commitment ceremony. One of you was having commitment ceremony, and you all flew in. And then I remember you came in. You taxied up to my house, and I was like, Ali, like, what are you doing here? You came all this way, and you said something like, "We're brothers. Like, he's my brother. I gotta come to his commitment ceremony," something like that. Right? Like, always show up. And so it's good to have you here. How you doing today?
Thanks for sharing that, by the way. That's a really awesome dream. It did happen basically in real life as well. And I want to come to your house if that's is that open invitation as well.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
You gonna be in the States sometime?
Let's see. Potentially, there might be another fundraising trip in the works. Yeah, but yeah, I'm very well. I'm very, very well. Life's going great right now. I'm very happy and proud and grateful to say. Yeah, this might be a good way to just quickly introduce me. If anybody in the live stream doesn't know me, my name is Ali. I'm from the UK. I'm half English and half Japanese. I'm 23, and I have the privilege of speaking to you because recently I did get matched. I was matched to this lovely, I can't show the whole thing, this lovely sister right here. Yeah, from Japan.
Yeah.
Exposing myself. Whoopsie. But yeah, that's why I'm here.
Nice.
I was told by David that the episode is going to be called, I think, When You Feel Like Giving Up on the Matching a Blessing.
Yeah.
That spoke to me. So I really felt like I wanted to say something. So that's why I'm here.
Let's do it. Yeah, we want to give you the floor and give you the mic. I just want to say, it's been I'm so proud of you. So happy. I was at your commitment ceremony a few months back now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was really, really happy for you and proud of your journey. So yeah, I guess I want to kind of unpack David's supposed to do this, but he's bailed on us like a true Brit.
Hey, watch what you say. Watch what you say about me.
So, but yeah, I think David has some questions for you, but I'll just add that I want to hear, what was like the lowest point in your matching journey where you really wanted to throw in the towel the most, and then what had you stand back up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give it back to David, and but we'll hear from you.
Fantastic.
Want to hear? Yeah, you first, Ali. What do you want to say?
I was just going to say quickly that Benji's question is what I'm going to answer in my little segment. It's kind of the highlight of my segment. So yeah, we will get to that.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I want to jump straight into that. That's kind of basically the same question I wanted to ask as well. More to do with, okay, little context. I wanted to look at growth, right? How growth can be painful. And I want to acknowledge for all the 12 people that are still in our chat, thank you for staying this long. Maybe you came later, 13 now. Thank you for staying and watching. I want to acknowledge that, yeah, the whole point we're doing this live stream is because it's difficult, right? It's difficult to achieve anything good in life, not just the blessing, a good job, a good relationship with
with God, I'm assuming. I think that's what he was going to say next.
All right, David, taking over for you. Why don't you, David, why don't you jump off and then jump back on? Yeah. So, yeah, take us through your story, Ali. Take us through it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it concise because, yeah, I know my European audience is getting kind of late. So thank you guys for being here, first and foremost. So my story begins, yeah, I'm 21. So I'm 23 now, and my story begins at 21. And my whole life up until that point, I really wanted the Matching and Blessing. I knew that. I made every decision up until 21 very intentionally to prepare myself for that. Didn't have any girlfriends, really tried and maintaining a high purity standard. And then boom, I'm 21. I'm in my final year of university, and I think, all right, let's take this up a notch. Let's really get serious with my matching prep. So do some workshops. I do the Chonsong, I do the fasting, I do the conditions, I do the Hundake. I'm really, really absorbing myself in a space to prepare myself for this next step. And then it comes to, I finish university, and then that very summer I meet a sister and we start a communication process. So I start a communication process here. So cat's out of the bag. I'm matched now, but that wasn't my first process. That was my second. And the first one is what started after university. So we start, everything's looking great. Honestly, everything's looking great. Everything is looking how I imagine things would go. We're on the same wavelength in many, many ways, in faith, in lifestyle. And it gets to a point, 4 months in, where it seems like this is it, clear sailing. This is the person. I'm ready for it. I want this. I want this. I really want to be with this person. And then we start planning our commitment ceremony, and then it was an international matching. So I go all the way to the other country, and I go as a seemingly person who's going to go to the matching. Oh no, sorry, who's going to be matched and he's going to go to the blessing. And I leave unmatched. And what happened in the space of a week was my matching fell through. That process fell through. And it fell through in a very short amount of time, in a very sudden way. And I was seemingly, like I said, I went thinking thinking all was good, all was clear sailing. I was matched, that, my life was going on track. And then within a couple of days, the process had finished and I had to pick up the pieces, fly myself back home and figure out life. So that's the scene. And to answer Benji's question, this is the hardest point. This is the hardest point in my matching journey. I go home, back to the UK, worse than I was before, because it's not like it's not like I'm back to square zero, where I'm actually worse off, because I've now got all this pain and trauma and really difficult heartache. My heart really was, to put it simply and plainly without any censorship, it was really torn apart, and my expectations were so destroyed. I was just an innocent boy, really, who really thought, I've done all the conditions, I've saved myself, I've done everything right. I've earned myself a nice, clear way to the blessing. But that's not what happened. And I was left with my expectations flipped over. So it was a really tough time for me. This was a really, really tough time, as you can imagine. And I cannot see the future at this time. I cannot see the future. All I can see is the present moment, what's right in front of me. Pain, heartache, my buddies, my good buddies, having their commitment ceremonies and happily going to the blessing. I can't see my future in this moment. All I can see is the bad stuff. All I can see is the heartache. And Benji knows about this time, because I was calling him a lot at this time. And I'm in this space, and you know, when you're your weakest is obviously when you're most vulnerable, right? So yeah, I'm in this space, and because things are so trash, so crap, my faith is dwindling. I'm starting to think. That question is entering my mind. Is this still what I want? Is this still the path I want to go? Is this still worth it? And I wrestled with that question. Thing is, one thing you got to know about me is I'm a very stubborn and very, very convicted man. So my faith never fell through. It never fell through. But the question of, is this still worth it, was barreling through my mind. And maybe that's a situation that's relatable for some people on this call. Maybe so. So I just want to share how I got out of that, and what is it that got me to where I am today. And simply put, it's hope. It's hope. And why it's hope is because when I was in this space, when I was questioning, when I couldn't see the future and all I could see was pain, grief, and despair in front of me, I really had to go deep with my faith. I remember we have this great church building in England called Livingstone House, and there's a rooftop. And I remember I went up to this rooftop in the dead of night, and I just put my arms out and I just said, Heavenly Parent, I cannot see the future. I cannot see me happily matched and blessed with the woman who you envisioned for me. I just can't see it. What I see right now is just this other, the previous matching process that just ended. I can't see the future you have in store for me. But then I really thought in that moment of Moses and the Israelites, because they were told they were going to go to the land of Canaan within 40 days. That's what they were told, and that's what they believed, and that's what they had in their mind. That's what Moses was leading them with, that belief. But obviously that didn't happen. Their expectations got completely thwarted, and they ended up being in the wilderness for 40 years. And when I was up on that rooftop, I was just thinking about Moses, like, yeah, I feel like I'm in a bit of a similar boat. I can't see the goal. I can't see the finish line. All I can see is this wilderness that, doesn't make sense to me, and it seems just so crap. But I believe it's there. I believe the finish line is there. I believe that my future is out there. It's waiting for me. The land of Canaan is waiting for me. The land of milk and honey is there. I believe it, even though I can't see it, even though no one can just come to me right now and say, Ali, you're going to be matched to this person. It's going to be brilliant. No one's telling me that. I can't see it, but I believe it. I sincerely believe it, with all my heart and soul. I believe it's there. So when I was up on that rooftop, I said to God, I can't see the future. I can't see it. All I can see is the crap stuff in front of me. But I don't care. I believe that the land of milk and honey is there. I believe that me being with a incredible sister and at the blessing, I believe it's there. So I'm going to keep going. And that's what I did. I just made that decision in that moment that I'm going to keep going with this. I believe it's there. I believe it. So whenever anything else happened, whenever I saw my mates getting matched, having their commitment ceremonies, whenever I was there, whenever any doubts or anything, any setbacks, I physically went to Korea for the opening of the Chonwon-gud, and I saw my bodies get blessed. And even that was like a bit of a stab in the heart a little bit. It's like, oh, I wish I could be with you boys. I'm so happy for you, but I wish I could be with you. And that's fine. I believe my future's coming. That's fine. I believe it so sincerely. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just focused on that dream. And I just kept reinforcing myself with that belief again and again and again and again. And then finally, in my own case, I made it. I started a new process, and I ended up speaking to a sister who, it was more than anything I could have ever hoped and dreamed of, and honestly, better, so much more incredibly nah, that's not the right way to put it, but so much more than I could have ever dreamed of at the beginning of my matching process. You know, I'm so grateful that things turned out the way that they did for me. I can say that wholeheartedly. So that's my story. And essentially, just how I got to where I got is through belief, just sheer hope and belief that, you know, it's there. And that's what got me to the finish line.
Thank you for sharing, Ali. We felt your heart. We felt your story, your pain. Can you show us a photo of your couple? Both of you guys again. Make it a little blow it up a little bit for us.
I'll see if I can get a nice,
so we can see the promised land.
yeah,
Ali's promised land.
absolutely.
Milk and honey.
Milk and honey. Yeah, I really meant that Moses story. I really did feel like Moses in that moment.
You can change her name in your phone to Milk and Honey.
Yeah, that's a bit more creative. It's just a heart at the moment. Maybe
Nice.
Yeah, here we go. Here's a nice one. This is us on a
Let's see.
commitment ceremony picture. That's one. There's another one. Yeah,
There you go. Thank you, buddy.
there's another one.
That's the exact house you're talking about, the Livingston house, right?
That is Livingston House. Where
Look
it
at
all, yeah,
Gives me chills, man.
yeah.
I want to highlight a few things for you. You know, seeing you grow in this process, not to what is it, toot your horn, blow smoke, but just to highlight for other people because I've seen where people fail. And when I say fail, I mean fail, as in they give up because they say this is too hard, which is failure. Failure is giving up. And there's a few moments where I really could see that you could have given up and failed, but you didn't. And one of those moments is when you did come back to the UK, back home from this, you know, process ending, and it happened right before you were like boarding a flight, right? Like a few days before, it like all crumbled down, you know. And I remember having that conversation, right? And yeah, I think the fact that you always reach out for support, that is one victory that you can claim, that anyone can claim, is when things are really hard, always to reach out for support from people, to not isolate. And I could really see that you were doing that in your life to many different people, right? With your parents, with your brothers, mentors, always reaching out, always connecting, because that's the opposite of isolating and escaping these emotions, is to head on deal with them, which is huge victory. And then we saw each other in Korea at the blessing, and I was actually very concerned about you. Like, what is going on through this guy's mind, right? You were attending the Ring Next Spring, right? You were at that freaking workshop, dude. He was at the Ring Next Spring. I was like, dude, like, I was so shocked to see you there because you were like not planning to go there. I was like, and there he is. And then, but also concerned because, you know, your brothers in arms are getting matched and blessed this time. And I think, and you did mention to me, right, at the ceremony, you said this is hard, like you were sharing in your story. It's challenge. You're happy for them, but it's also a challenge because you want to be there with them. And then you said, do you remember what you told me?
No.
You said, I promise next year. He's like, you were like, a freaking promise of next year, like this, right? Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, and I really felt, you know, in your matching process, I'm trying to say this without you really put away your ego. Not to say you're an egotistical person. We're all egotistical. Trust, like we are. Just look at yourself a little bit. We're all having ego. But I could really see you put that aside. And you're like, I don't care what I look like or what people think. I don't care what feels good or, you know, like temporary. I could really tell you were like, I'm committed to the big picture. I'm committed to a family. I'm committed to God and true parents. I really felt that genuine, like an authentic faith, you know, is what you're saying. That the word that comes to mind to me is also a term for hope. It's just faith, is just the decision to keep walking despite not knowing when you're going to get there or how you're going to get there, what the path will look like. But just faith is just a decision at the end of the day. It's just, I'm going to keep walking, just going to keep going, you know? And I kind of, in a parallel sense, was talking with another brother in a very similar kind of matching process as yours, which didn't work out, and he decided to end it, right? And I was like, I felt like this duality, this like polarity between you two. Like you were like the victorious son. He was, in my view, just my humble opinion, I feel like he made the wrong mistake by ending it. It's just like everything seemed really like going well. Everything was like felt not perfect, right? As matching processes are never perfect, but felt aligned spiritually, and like God was there, and he kind of didn't go through with it. And I was like, oh. But I felt like you like passed a certain test of just throwing up your hands and saying, okay, this is it, right? Does that make sense? Do you agree with that? Like, I feel like you really overcame some personal barriers in this process.
Absolutely. I agree with everything that you said, Benj. Yeah. Do you want me to just quickly elaborate?
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, in my story just now, I didn't share at all about my second process because it's almost a whole nother chapter. I mean, it is a whole nother chapter. And perhaps I'll get more into it on another time. But essentially, following on from what Benji just said, my second process was so different to my first process in that I had to really, like Benji said, I had to change. I really had to change. I really had to look at things from a different perspective. So what I mean by that is, yeah, my match is from Japan. She is Japanese. She's half Korean, but she grew up in Japan. And I didn't anticipate at all to get matched with a Japanese sister, if I'm totally honest. My mother's Japanese, but I was just not looking for that myself. And the story goes is that she actually reached out to me through the matching website and being open and really wanting to be, open-minded and seeing the bigger picture, like Benji said. We started the process, and throughout the process, I had to choose to look at the bigger picture, because if you focus on the external in an international matching, you're going to fall short, because you're not going to get what you're looking for. Simply put, if you're looking for banter, if you're looking for common interests, if you're looking for same language communication, if you're looking for these things, you just simply won't get it. But then that doesn't mean you're not going to get anything. It means you're going to get something else. It means you're going to get some real deep understanding, because you aren't even you can't even fully communicate in each other's languages, but you're going to communicate on the level of heart. Just, I want to be with you, and that's just the truth. And so yeah, in my personal experience, I really had to let go of silly things. Okay, no, they're not silly. I don't want to print them as silly, because everybody is entitled to your own. Everybody's entitled to your own, what you want. But the things that I thought I wanted, banter, external factors, I realized that it's just not valuable, because we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. We're going to be husband and wife forever, eternity. So in order to make an eternal decision, you got to look at some eternal metrics. And what are those? Is she just committed to you? Does she want to go the full 9 yards with you? Is she a fantastic daughter of God who sincerely just wants to live for the sake of heavenly parent and true parents? Is she just willing to go on this journey with you, and be by your side no matter what? Just the other day, we had a brilliant call. She said, her name's Yoju. She said to me, Ali, you and me are together forever now. If I go to heaven, you're coming with me to heaven. If I go to hell, you're coming with me to hell. And I was like, yeah, 100%. That's what's going to happen. That's the nature of the decision that we made. So, yeah, to simplify everything I've just said, Benji's right. for me in the second process, I had to change. I had to put aside my external list of interests that I had before, and I had to replace them with something deeper. And that is what ultimately has given me so much more happiness than I think I could have ever received if I went things about the other way.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Really beautiful. Truly, truly. Yeah.
And it was a journey, just to say, it really was a journey. You know, it wasn't easy for me. It did take a lot of sincere thought and prayer and it took sincerity. And I just want to say that that's important. You know, it's a big thing we're doing. So absolutely, if you want to have a sincere blessing, go and do some sincere stuff, I would say.
Not you. Well, if you guys have any questions, comments for Ali, let us know. I think that this type of story highlights the real crux of many issues and solutions of the matching processes, right? It's a specific story, but it really highlights the importance of that point you met of following internal metrics as opposed to external, eternal as opposed to finite. And that is the nature of the blessing. It's hard to think like that initially because we are conditioned, perhaps culturally. Also, we're primal beings, and so we tend to, historically think about survival and this type of thing first. But we live in a different age. The blessing is a different thing. We live in the merit of the age in which we don't have to survive. We don't. We can thrive. We don't have to live a mediocre life. We can have it all. We can have joy and happiness as well as success and everything we want in life. Yeah. So it's a great story. And I want to have David come back on here so that he can ask you any follow-ups because he is here now with himself. You could, David? How do we get you on? Okay. There he is.
Hey, he's back.
Hello, boys.
All right.
Oh,
Yes. No, thank you so much, Ali. Yeah, really powerful story. To be honest, what you shared is exactly what I wanted people to hear because Benji mentioned in his podcast episode he released this week the difference between soft love and tough love, and we need both, right? And I think our members really do need a lot of soft love. They need to be taken care of. They need to have someone who can give them a hug if they need a hug. And I want to let people know that this blessing journey is really tough, and that we need to take care of each other on that journey. We can't leave people isolated. We can't leave people without care. We need to give each other care, but we can't just have all of that because we do need a good push up the backside sometimes. And I think I definitely need that. And Ali, your message is one of truly just fighting your way to victory and getting yourself there. Yeah, I want to hear more from the chat, to be honest. I don't really have a specific question in mind for you. More just, how do you feel now that you've overcome that challenge of thinking that maybe the blessing was not possible for you? Of course, and I know because we run a CARP chapter together in the UK, things are still challenging in life. It's not like things get easy afterwards, but how do you really feel now that you've overcome this hurdle in your life?
Grateful, so grateful, so grateful, so grateful because I'm so far away from that, I'm so far away from that metaphorical wilderness time of my life. And for that, I'm so grateful to Heavenly Parent that I can be here. Because like you said, it was a bit of a fight. Sometimes it really did feel like I really just had to fight for it and just keep pushing myself and just keep pushing towards what I believe to be true. And and thankfully, right now I'm seemingly in a bit of a nice place. So firstly, grateful, and then secondly, reborn I'm really in a new phase of life. Life really did restart. You know, everything up until now really was just prep for finally being able to, yeah, now focus on just being a good husband for my match. So now everything is flipped. Suddenly my problems are no longer that of a single man's. They're of a engaged man, and I'm having to my problems have changed. Or at least the things that I'm not problems, but my priorities have changed drastically. You know, now I'm thinking, yeah, genuinely, how can I attend this woman as best as I can? Yeah.
Mm. No, that's beautiful, brother. Really, really motivating. Honestly, hearing you, I'm so inspired. I really am. Um, this world, our human history, we have a lot of bad stories, to be honest. And I don't say this to try and like go off on a tangent, but like I really mean it, that this life that we've been living as humankind is actually quite a tragic one. It's quite a sad one. And right now in the world as well, there's a lot to feel bad about. I want to acknowledge that. Life is tough. It really is. A lot of pain. So when you hear a victory story, when you hear something go right, when you see a glimpse of hope, when you see the joy in the eyes of someone like Ali explaining that he's made it, he has his wife now that will receive the blessing next year, and they will embark on this journey of togetherness for eternity. It's so beautiful. For me, it's so refreshing to hear this. And I do really hope that as a community, we acknowledge that, yes, it's going to be incredibly hard to build this ideal world. And it probably won't happen in your or my lifetime, realistically. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's my lack of faith. But I just want to see hope. And I want to be able to, if I can, be a part of sharing that hope. And I hope that we all feel that responsibility, that if we have a blessing, we share it. That's what the blessing is for me. It's something we share. We share that blessing. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I want people to leave this live stream feeling like, you know what? I'm going to work a bit harder for that blessing, because even though it freaking hurts sometimes, it's worth it. It's really worth it. Yeah. Is there anything you want to add to that, Ali?
No, just to reinforce that point. You know, the whole reason I came on here is really to, yeah, speak to the audience, speak to everybody who's still around. I'm your brother, and I just want to tell you that no matter where you are in your journey with the matching right now, because I know it's so different for every single one of us, I really hope you can gain some power from this live stream. You know, yeah, keep going, every single one of you. Keep pushing. It is so worth it. 1000%, 1000% worth it. And the land of milk and honey is waiting for you. You just got to believe, and you just got to really, really stick to that hope. And yeah, I really, I just pray. I really, I pray for you guys, because we are second gen, third gen, and the future of the world really does depend on our shoulders a little bit. So yeah.
No pressure. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
for sure. Definitely. Let's really take care of each other. I want that to be the case as well, that we really do take care of each other on this
That's
journey. Yeah. Benji, I need you back, mate, because I had to resort to my phone. Oh, he's back. That's good.
Back.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the core program, and Benji, if you can do your little wizardry things and just put some links and stuff in the ether, that'd be great.
My copy paste wizardry. Here we
Copy
go.
paste wizardry. I want to plug the core program. Yeah, for the last 2 years, Benji and we started this together actually back in
That's right.
2023. After that conversation on the couch, we started the program together. No, but yeah, in all seriousness, this program is for the purpose of supporting each other on the matching and blessing journey. I'm very fortunate to be in a group right now, actually with Ali, and we're having great discussions with our brothers in this current cycle. And you can join next year. You can join the waiting list for next year. I think it's February time that the next cycle will take place. And if you really want to grow and you really want to take the opportunity to take ownership of the blessing, then I do really recommend you join this program or reach out to our staff, behind in staff. We're always here to help. The guest speakers, Ali and Sumi as well, they're great older brother, great older sister who really take care of their communities. So please reach out to us, for sure. I really want people to receive some support from us. And yeah, Benji, before we close, is there anything that you want to add?
Did you say I'm fully clothed? What'd you say?
Fully clothed? No. Before we fully close this live stream and we take off all of Benji's clothes, no.
I would like to be fully clothed. I was like, how'd you know? So I think what Ali said and you said, David, is that this is a hopeful journey. I was just recalling when you were sharing that there was a sister I talked to several years ago, and she was trying a matching process for over a decade. And she's, stellar, fantastic sister. And it was always like in the background of her mind, like, what's wrong with me? I think a lot of people have that as well. It's like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I? If that person can do it, that person can do it, like, why can't it? There must be something wrong with me, right? And I get that. Especially if you've tried really hard at something. If you ever swung big in life on, work or business or schooling, and you just keep failing no matter how hard you try. I remember when I took the standardized testing for university here, and I studied for months and months and months to get a good SAT score, and I got average, like pretty average results. I was like, there must be something wrong with me, right? But I think, at the end of the day, guys, like your journey is unique. Like, just look at Ali, right? Look at David. Look, like this is the prediction for you, David. You're going to go through some matching processes. They're going to be rocky. There's a few of them that will be rocky. You'll learn a lot. You'll probably want to give up at some times, and then you'll find your wife, and you'll be so dang happy that the other processes didn't work out. You'll be so happy. You'll be like, I'm so glad that didn't work out. You will go through that. And next time we have a live stream like this, you can tell that story. But that's my prediction. And I'm telling you this story about this sister because, like, she's matched now. And this is like 15 years or something that she's been trying to get, like, long time. She's older than me, actually. And so I really do believe in this idea of soulmates. I will use that word, even though we hate that word. I do believe in soulmates, actually. Not to the extent that they're preordained, like we don't have any free will, but in the sense that there are people in our lives that spirit world or God are waiting for us and giving us the right lessons in life in order to learn to be on that path. And sometimes we have to go through really, really rocky valleys in order to get to the top of the mountains. But when you're going down to that valley, it seems like this is the end. This is it. Is this what my life is? But that's not True Mother's Promise, right? What is True Mother's Promise, guys? What is it? 8 billion people, isn't it? True Mother's Promise is everyone. Everyone. Now, that is a feat that is world domination level, but that's her heart. That's the heart of True Mother. That is heart of a mother. Everyone has a path. So there are people that have had past sexual experiences, yes. There are people that have made horrible mistakes that they regret and repent for, yes. Are they qualified for the blessing? There is a path. It's going to look different because we have to atone for our mistakes. Everyone does. Internally, spiritually, mentally, we have to. But there is a promise. There is a path. There is a path. For every affliction, there's redemption, right? And that's a big one for people, especially in the area of purity, because by definition, the blessing is about purity. That's what the blessing is. It's a purification of lineage, of sexuality. It's a reversal of self-centered sexuality. So if you've been selfish with your sexuality, guess what? The blessing's your answer. If you have been selfish with your sexual organ, guess what? The blessing is not for you. It's exactly for you, because that's what it's here to resolve. You understand? If you've been selfish with your sexuality to any extent, porn, masturbation, sleeping around, I don't care. Doesn't make you less qualified for the blessing. Actually, the blessing is exactly for you. It is the solution to what you need. Because that's what the blessing is. It's for you to learn how to use your sexuality for goodness, for your spouse, for God, for having children, for your energy to create. And that process starts now as a single person. Right, David? Right, Ali? People, we're delusioned in culture to think that this is what most people think. The only way to release sexual energy is through sex or masturbating. Wrong. How do we know that? Then why are humans instilled with sex drive from such a young age? If we're meant to be having sex at 11 years old, right? That's when people start masturbating. Men and women, 10, 11 years old, 12 years old. If the only path to sexual release is through sex, does that mean we're designed for having sex at 11? No. It's because you're designed to be able to utilize your sex drive for goodness from a young age, to learn how to hone it, to learn how to create, to learn how to give, to serve from a young age, to master it. That's the purpose of God giving us sex drive from a young age. But we're delusions, porn, masturbation, having sex, it's normal, it's good, it's the only way. No. It's some cruel trick by God. God has placed, give a 12-year-old boy a penis and it's like God's cosmic prank. It's like, no, there's purpose. It's design. It's a beautiful time to be single. I say that as a guy who got blessed when I was 18 years old. Don't you think there are times where I'm like, man, I kind of wish I waited a bit so I could enjoy singlehood a little bit? Yeah. Don't you think I wish I had my 20s to travel the world and be alone and just live life on my terms a little bit sometimes, not a lot. But I have to say that there is a beauty to being single that's so purposeful and crafted immaculately by God so that you can learn how to utilize your energy and sexuality for goodness, to give, to serve, to create, to make music, to mentor, to serve, to be a leader, to learn how to be a leader. And sometimes make mistakes, sure, absolutely, with sexuality. But that's the process of learning, is that we fail sometimes when we make mistakes and we learn and we keep going. That's the process. It's a beautiful time of our lives. Beautiful time that should not be wasted, that should not be rushed through as soon as possible. Got to get married, got to get blessed. No. Shouldn't be wasted. You can do both. Enjoy singlehood, make the best of it, the purpose of it, and you can strive for finding your partner. And that process is going to be rocky, but it's going to be the exact process that you need. It's going to be the exact process that you need to become the man or woman that you eventually will be. That's True Mother's promise, guys. That's the guarantee. Everyone has a path. All right. Thank you.
Argue to that. Yeah, there's really not much I can add to that, to be honest. Yeah, I believe the blessing is special. Let's keep working towards that. Saying this to myself as much as anything. Keep working, just keep working. Because I do really want to experience that beautiful blessing. And give that blessing to someone wonderful, a wonderful, precious daughter of God who's out there somewhere. I don't know how she's doing. I think about that sometimes. How's my future wife doing right now? I wonder what her life is like right now. What can I do now to make her future better? But yeah, I need to work on myself right now and be that successful single. And I hope that all the other singles out there, we can support each other on that journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to conclude here, and I'm going to have to ask Benji to close the live stream because I had to go on my phone because the spirit world crashed my laptop for some reason. So I'm going to edit this all in post. So I'm just going to smoothly transition to saying goodbye to everybody. Goodbye. Thank you for joining. Take care. Love you lots.
Bye. Ali, did you want to say anything?
Honestly, I got nothing to add. Yeah.
Okay. If anyone wants to know what my dream was about, I'll mention it here and then I'll cut it out later so we don't get canceled. Just so there's no weird sexual. There's nothing sexual. Just so that there's a commitment. One of you London lads was getting married at my house, and he he was getting married to a man. And you guys were all like, anyways, it was just really it was really like un you guys of this situation. So I'll just leave it at that. Which is why you see why I didn't want to mention my dream, right? It's just weird, weird fact about my dream.
Thank God it was just a dream.
Yeah, don't worry, it was just a dream. He's not a real person. He's just, like sometimes you dream of weird, strange characters.
Imaginary boyfriend.
Yes. One of you London lads had an imaginary husband in my dream. So there you go. All right. See you guys later. God bless y'all.
God bless.
And stream.